So I'm welcoming us to this session. This is going to be our first webinar for the course. So the first course is Understanding Data and its Ecosystem. And this is the first course in our bootcamp. So the goal of this course is actually to teach us all those basic concepts we need to know to build our career in the data ecosystem, whether to become a pro fully or probably to just become someone who is data literate. So we are going to start with data and data literacy in this generation. My name is Opeyemi Olasokami. As we continue in the course, we will also look at some of the important terms that every data professional should understand and should be aware of. The objective of this first phase is that we should know what data is and what is literacy also mean. We should know the importance of data in this era. We should also understand the types of data, and we should understand the new trend based on this particular period. So what is data? Data is a raw facts and figures that can be processed to extract meaningful information. So basically, when we have facts and figures, those facts and figures, when they are not yet processed, we call them data. So it's just like having a raw material that is not yet processed, but this time around is in terms of facts and figures. For example, if an Indian man is watching this video later and ask another man who is in Nigeria that, please, this person that is speaking, where do you think this person comes from in Nigeria? Like, can you predict the state? So if the person asks, okay, what is the name of the presenter? And the guy said, okay, the name of the presenter is Opeyemi Olasokami. Anybody who is familiar with the Southwest states will understand that this person is actually a Yoruba man, because it's only a Yoruba man that can bear this particular name. So that information, that fact, we can extract that information of knowing where that particular name comes from in Nigeria. So, and that is what data is. Data is just facts and figures, but the beauty of data is that when we look into it and we start looking at the patterns and some of the trends there, we can start extracting information. And believe me, the amount of information or the importance of information that is extracted from data cannot be overemphasized. So when we talk about data, there are several categories we can put them in. So we can classify them based on several features. One of them is the structure of the data. So there is what you call a structured data. A structured data just means a data that we can put inside table in form of a column and row. For example, if we want to record the performance of students in the class, you can easily say, okay, the name of the course, the score of a student, and the name of a student. We can put all of this inside a table, and we put it in form of rows and in form of columns. However, there are some data that we cannot put inside rows and inside columns. We call them unstructured data. And a good example of that is our Gmail. When you look at our Gmail message, you see that you can extract the name of the sender, you can extract the Gmail address of the sender, you can extract the time when the message was delivered. But we cannot extract the documents that follows that particular Gmail and put it inside table. So that kind of data is called a semi-structured data, in which some component of the data can be put inside a table, such as the Gmail address, the name of the sender, and co. Whereas some other content, such as the content of the Gmail itself, like the messages that were written there, and some other files that might have been attached to that particular message, could not be put inside the table. So we call that a semi-structured data. However, we have a purely unstructured data, which is actually when we have data such as videos, audio files. Those are data that you cannot put inside the table. So this video now, we are recording it. So we can insert this video inside the table. Why? Because it is an unstructured data. Now, what is data literacy? Data literacy is the ability to read, ability to interpret, to create, and communicate data as information. So, like we said, inside data, there are a lot of hidden information. So, and anybody cannot just dabble into it and extract it. There are techniques and there are methodologies which are required to do that. And that ability is what is called data literacy. And that is why those who have that ability are being paid for it, because it's not a common knowledge. Now, data literacy has become an essential skill for the modern workforce. Why? Because there is data everywhere now. Over the period of years, like 30, 40, 50 years ago, people were actually working with data, but the difference is that data was not so available then like it is now. Now we have data everywhere because of the internet, because of the kind of infrastructure that we now use today. And this large and huge amount of data has required the necessity of experts who will extract information and make this information useful for day-to-day progress of businesses. So that is why it is now becoming a norm across industry to employ what is called data-driven decision making. So data-driven decision making is when we make decisions that are informed by information derived from a data. And a good example of this is this. Assuming we have two companies, both of them want to buy a generator. So company A just sent someone to the market, and the person got to the market, look around, and got one gen that he believes will work for the hospital or for the organization. So they got it, he brought it home, and the generator is being used. However, company B said, before we go out to buy our own generator, we are going to do some basic research. So they went to other institutions like them, probably like 20 or 30 different ones, and look at different types of generators they were using, and look at the vendors that sold those generators, the make-up of those generators, the capacity, the kind of fuel it uses, and collect some data about those different generators. And then they ask questions about their performance and so on. And after putting all this information together, they look at what they need a generator for in their own company. They look at the type of generator they will need, and they look into those different types of generator and choose a particular one that is going to fit their business need, so that when they are going to the market, they are not just going based on any random gambling. Rather, they are going with an information that is already been an information that is being supported by insight generated from data. So, and that is a simple way of explaining what data-driven decision making is. And believe me, in developed countries, you won't see any reasonable organization that will make decisions without using this particular method. And this cut across all industries, including sports. In fact, Arsenal Football Club had to buy a whole data consulting firm into their institution, because you can't do anything tangible in this generation without using this method. And that is why being able to handle data is one of the best skill sets anybody can have in this generation. Now, I have spoken about the type of data, the structured one, the semi-structured one, and the unstructured one. It is important for us to note that structured data is just about 20% of all the data available in nature. Every activity of nature generates data, and that is the beauty. But more than 80%, or let's say an average of 80% of all the data that is generated is actually an unstructured or semi-structured. So, for example, the internet. If you look at the internet and you see the type of data that is being generated, we are going to know that majority of them are unstructured. The video files we are uploading, the audio files we are uploading, our pictures, PDF files, so on and so on, even the messages that we type. All of these are forms of unstructured data. And that is why processing unstructured data is actually a whole world of its own in the data ecosystem. Now, like I said before, there is now rapid growth of data collection in this age because of the reasons I mentioned earlier about the internet and some of the infrastructures which are now available. So some people put it that approximately 328 million terabytes of data are created each day globally. Let's look at this in gigabytes. This is 328 billion gigabytes of data every day. So which tells you that data in this era is a huge component of our daily life and activity. And that is why some experts said that data is the oil of this century, because it is everywhere, and the more they are available, the more the values that we can generate from them. So, benefits of data literacy, let me start with this particular quote by Geoffrey Moore. He said that without big data analytics, that is, without employing the method of extracting information from data, companies are blind and deaf. They will wander out onto the web like they are on a freeway. That is, companies are going to make a lot of blind decisions without employing data-driven decision making. And that is why big companies all over the world, they don't just employ data professionals. They actually build teams, like a whole department that handle their data. like I talk about the Arsenal Football Club, the other side, that Arsenal Football Club actually bought a whole consulting firm and incorporated it into their football club just to be able to analyze all the data of their matches, their players, everything that is necessary. Please, if your microphone is on, please mute it. Anybody whose microphone is on, so please mute it, please. So now, when we want to talk about the benefit of data literacy, we can actually classify it into three different categories. We have the business owners, the experts, and then the domain experts. Now, let's look at business owners. Some people who own their own business, by understanding some of this concept of how to use data to solve problems, they can actually progress their own business without having to employ a data professional. Over time, when business owners ask me to help them build dashboard and code, I look at them. They cannot pay for my service as a small business owner. But if they themselves have this particular skill, it's going to be very useful for them, and they will be able to do basic things like building a dashboard, building a small database on a spreadsheet for their own business, and so on. So business owners are going to benefit a lot from data literacy simply because they will be able to use it to know how their business is performing and also to do some basic operations that will actually help their business. The second category are those people who want to become data guru, like a guru in the data ecosystem. There are several career opportunities in the data ecosystem, and we are going to be talking about them in one of our webinars. There is a whole lot of areas where one can specialize as a data professional, and these are top level expertise that you can earn six figures per annum, even in US, Canada, and all over the world. Then the other category of people are the domain experts. Domain experts are people that have their own profession, people like accountants, people like marketers, people like HR and co, salesperson who are happy doing their job, but they want to employ the power of analytics and data analytics into their day-to-day activities. So if you are an executive at your workplace and you know how to interpret data, it's going to help you a lot. And like I said, the skill set in the data ecosystem or the ability to analyze data or to handle data is that skill set that can be added to any domain expertise in the world. There is no job you are doing that you cannot add data analysis to. Whether you are an engineer, a healthcare professional, a scientist, a researcher, anything you are doing, you can actually add these skill sets of data analysis into that particular domain. And this will make you to stand out in those domains. So in conclusion, we have been able to see the need for data skills as sporadically increased in this age. We have also been able to see that data skill is compatible with every form of domain expertise. We have been able to see too that having a data skill will always be an advantage. So